Night has settled over the town like a held breath. The last carts have left the square, and the only sound is the distant murmur of the river. Tonight we keep company with the people of the 15th century to follow a Chasqui messenger on the Inca road. Let the centuries fall away. Sink gently into your pillow. The day is done and you are safe to rest. Let your eyelids grow pleasantly heavy. This is quiet history. Let us begin. The air at this altitude is thin and sharp, like the edge of a mountain obsidian blade. It carries the scent of dry grass and the faint, cold promise of snow from the peaks that scrape the stars above. Here, high in the Andes, the world is a quiet expanse of stone and shadow, held together by the thin, winding thread of the great road. You stand at the entrance of a small stone tambo, a way station perched on a ridge that feels like the very roof of the world. The stones beneath your feet are smooth, worn down by the passage of 1,000 runners, each carrying the heartbeat of the empire in their lungs. The silence here is heavy, broken only by the low, rhythmic whistle of the wind through the ichu grass. Inside the tambo, a small fire of dried dung flickers, casting long, dancing shadows against the mortarless walls. The stones are fitted so perfectly that not even a needle could slide between them, a testament to the strength of the mountains themselves. You wait in the doorway, your breath appearing as soft white plumes in the moonlight, watching the path that curves away into the darkness. Your ears are tuned to a specific sound, a sound that lives in the distance far beyond the reach of sight. It is the low, mournful call of the pututu, the conch shell trumpet that announces the arrival of a brother runner. It is a sound that carries across the ravines, echoing off the granite faces, signaling that the message is nearing its next hand. You reach down to adjust the straps of your sandals, the usuta, fashioned from the thick hide of a mountain deer. They are sturdy, yet flexible, allowing your feet to feel the subtle shifts in the stone beneath you. Every knot, every stitch is a familiar comfort, a part of the ritual that prepares your body for the long rhythmic climb ahead. Beside you, resting on a woven mat, lies the quipu. It is a bundle of colored strings, some as dark as the midnight sky, others as bright as the sun-drenched valleys below. Each knot is a secret, a number, a harvest record, or perhaps a royal decree from the Sapa Inca himself. You do not need to know the words, only the weight of the responsibility it represents. The sound of the shell grows louder now, a deep resonance that vibrates in your chest. You step out onto the road, the Hapak Ion, which stretches for thousands of miles through the heart of the kingdom. The stones are cool and silvered by the light of the moon, a highway of moonlight carved into the side of the world. You begin to move, not yet a run, but a slow preparatory sway of the hips and shoulders. Your muscles are warm despite the chill, humming with the memory of the paths you have already conquered. You look toward the bend in the road where the shadows seem to shift and coalesce into a moving form. The incoming runner appears, a ghost in the starlight, his silhouette lean and focused. His stride is steady, though his chest heaves with the effort of the ascent. He does not stop, for the message must never rest, and the road does not acknowledge fatigue. As he nears, the rhythm of his breathing becomes the only clock that matters. You move alongside him for a few paces, matching his stride, feeling the heat radiating from his skin. The handoff is silent, a practiced motion where the quipu passes from his hand to yours. There is a brief moment of shared understanding, a look in the eyes that speaks of the miles behind and the miles ahead, before he slows and you accelerate. Now you are the heartbeat. The road opens up before you, a pale ribbon winding through the dark folds of the mountains. Your pace is not a sprint, but a measured, enduring trot, a cadence that you can maintain for hours without breaking. The sound of your own footfalls, a soft, repetitive thud on the stone, becomes a mantra. The world shrinks to the circle of light provided by the moon, and the small stretch of road immediately before you. To your left, the mountain rises into an impenetrable wall of black rock. To your right, the earth falls away into a vast, silent abyss, where the clouds drift like sleeping giants in the valley floor. You pass a small stone shrine, a huaca, where travelers have left tiny offerings of coca leaves and smooth pebbles. You do not stop, but you offer a silent thought of gratitude to the spirits of the peaks, the apus, who watch over the high passes. Their presence is felt in the weight of the air and the stillness of the rocks. The road begins to climb, a series of steep stone stairs carved directly into the cliffside. You shorten your stride, lifting your knees higher, your lungs expanding to pull in the thin, cold air. Each step is a deliberate choice, a connection between your strength and the ancient bones of the earth. The stars seem to descend as you rise, hanging like bright lanterns just out of reach. You reach the crest of the pass, where the wind howls with a renewed vigor, tugging at your woven tunic. Below you, the road descends in a series of elegant zigzags, a masterpiece of engineering that defies the gravity of the slopes. You take a moment to find your rhythm again, letting the descent carry you forward with a controlled, flowing grace. In the distance, the silver thread of a river glimmers at the bottom of a canyon, its roar reduced to a faint, liquid whisper at this height. You know that soon you will have to cross the great suspension bridge, the Kesvachaca, woven from the very grass that grows on these slopes. It is a bridge of air and fiber, swaying gently in the mountain drafts. As you run, the landscape changes, the barren rock giving way to small patches of hardy shrubs and the occasional cluster of cacti. The scent of the earth becomes more pronounced, a mixture of damp stone and ancient dust. You feel the world beginning to wake, though the sun is still a distant promise behind the eastern peaks. You pass a herd of llamas, huddled together for warmth in a stone corral. Their large, dark eyes follow your movement, their ears twitching at the sound of your passage. They are the silent witnesses to your journey, the companions of the high places who understand the patience required by the mountains. Your shadow stretches out long and thin before you, cast by the setting moon. It dances across the stones, a fleeting companion that mirrors your every move. You are a part of the road now, as much as the stones and the grass, a single pulse in a network that spans the length of the continent. The next tambo is still many miles away, a small speck of warmth waiting in the folds of the next valley. You settle deeper into your pace, the initial tension of the run melting into a steady, meditative flow. The stars begin to pale, and the first hint of grey touches the horizon, signaling the transition from the world of shadows to the world of light. You feel the strength in your legs, the steady pump of your heart, and the cool touch of the quipu against your side. The road continues, an endless invitation to keep moving, to keep carrying the story of the empire forward through the quiet mountain night. As the light begins to change, you prepare your mind for the descent into the valley below. The descent is a rhythmic dance, a steady, measured lowering of your weight from one stone to the next. The air, though still thin, begins to carry the weight of the valley below, a dampness that clings to your skin. You can hear the river now, a low, persistent hum that grows into a roar as you draw closer to the canyon floor. The sound is a companion, a constant reminder of the life that flows through these mountains. Your feet, in their woven sandals of vegetable fiber, find their grip on the damp surfaces of the granite steps. You do not rush, for the road demands respect, and the rhythm of the messenger is one of endurance, not haste. The zigzag path, carved with such precision by those who came before, guides you safely through the steep terrain. You feel the shift in the muscles of your legs, the tension of the climb giving way to the controlled release of the downhill journey. Each step is a quiet thud, a soft vibration that travels up through your body, connecting you to the earth. As you reach the lower ledges, The mist begins to swirl in thick white ribbons, obscuring the path ahead for a fleeting moment. You know this road by heart, the way a musician knows the strings of a flute or a weaver knows the threads of a loom. The stones are familiar friends, their edges worn smooth by the thousands of feet that have passed this way before you. To your left, the mountain wall rises, a sheer face of dark rock, weeping with the moisture of the morning clouds. Small ferns and patches of bright green moss cling to the crevices, drinking in the cool mountain water. You reach out a hand, brushing the cold, wet stone as you pass, a brief touch of the world's ancient skin. Ahead, the great bridge appears, a delicate web of golden grass, suspended over the churning white water of the Apurimac. It is the Chasqui, the bridge of the sun, woven by the hands of 1,000 people each year, to keep the empire whole. You slow your pace as you approach the massive stone abutments, where the great cables are anchored deep into the mountain. The bridge sways gently in the rising wind, a living thing made of the very grass that grows on the high plateaus. You step onto the woven floor, feeling the slight give of the fibers beneath your feet and the rhythmic pulse of the river far below. The sound of the water is deafening here, a powerful rushing song that fills the entire gorge. You walk with a steady gaze, looking ahead to the far side, where the road resumes its climb into the next range. The smell of wet grass and the cold spray of the river fills your lungs, refreshing your spirit. After the long hours of the night, the bridge is a miracle of patience, a testament to the strength found in the smallest blades of grass when bound together with purpose. Once across, you pause for a heartbeat to adjust the strap of your bag and feel the quipu resting against your hip. The knots are silent, but they carry the weight of the Sapa Inca's word, a responsibility that keeps your heart steady and your feet light. The road now leads you through a series of agricultural terraces, the Andines, that scale the mountainside like a giant staircase. In the grey light, the terraces are silent, their stone walls holding the warmth of the previous day's sun. You pass through fields of quinoa and hardy mountain potatoes, their leaves heavy with the dew of the early morning. The scent of damp earth and growing things is a welcome change from the dry, sterile air of the high passes. You see a small shrine, a huaca, nestled in a niche beside the path where travelers leave their offerings of stone and leaf. You reach into your pouch and place a single dried coca leaf upon the altar, a quiet prayer for the road and the journey yet to come. The mountains are alive, and every stone, every stream is a spirit that must be honored with a humble heart. The sky is turning a pale, translucent blue, and the stars have all but vanished into the growing light. You can see the outlines of the peaks more clearly now, their jagged silhouettes etched against the horizon like the teeth of a great puma. The world is beginning to stir, the first birds calling out from the thickets of polylepis trees that grow in the sheltered gullies. Their songs are sharp and clear, echoing through the stillness, a celebration of the returning day. You feel a new energy flowing through your limbs, a second wind that comes when the darkness finally breaks. The road narrows here, clinging to the side of a cliff with a drop that falls away into the green depths of the valley floor. You move with precision, your body leaning slightly inward, away from the edge, trusting the stone beneath you. The engineering of the road is a marvel, a smooth, level surface that defies the chaos of the mountain's crags. You pass through a small tunnel carved by hand through a spur of rock, the air inside cool and smelling of ancient dust. As you emerge, the valley opens up before you, a vast tapestry of green and gold, bathed in the soft horizontal light of the dawn. You can see the smoke rising from a distant village, a thin grey ribbon that signals the start of the morning fires. The people there are waking to their daily tasks, unaware of the messenger passing like a ghost high above them. You are a shadow in the morning, a flicker of movement against the vastness of the landscape. The road begins to level out as you enter a high rolling plateau where the ichu grass waves in the wind like a golden sea. The sound of your footsteps changes here, becoming a soft rhythmic rustle. As you move through the vegetation, you pass a small group of llamas, their long necks turning, to watch you pass with large liquid eyes. They are the true masters of these heights, sure-footed and calm, their presence a reminder of the quiet strength required to survive. You feel a kinship with them, a shared understanding of the long miles and the thin air. The next rest station, the Tambo, is visible now, a small, sturdy building of stone with a high thatched roof. It sits alone on the plain, a sanctuary for those who travel the royal road, a place of warmth and water. You do not stop, for your legs are still strong, and the message you carry cannot wait for the comfort of a fire. Instead, you offer a silent greeting as you pass the doorway, where a single attendant is sweeping the stone threshold. He looks up and raises a hand in a quiet gesture of respect, acknowledging the sacred duty of the Chasqui. You acknowledge him with a nod, a brief moment of human connection in the solitude of the journey. The path ahead is straight and clear, stretching out toward the distant mountains that guard the heart of the empire. You settle into your stride once more, the rhythm of your breath and the beat of your heart becoming one with the road. The sun finally clears the eastern peaks, and the first true rays of light touch the stones at your feet. The warmth is immediate, a gentle touch on your shoulders that eases the lingering chill of the mountain night. You feel the weight of the quipu and the stories it holds as the landscape begins to transform under the golden glow of the morning sun. The plateau begins to tilt downward as the road leads you toward the edge of a great green abyss. The air, once sharp and dry, begins to soften, carrying the scent of damp earth and crushed leaves. You descend into the cradle of the valley where the mountains hold the clouds in a close embrace. The sound of a distant river, a low, constant rumble, rises up to meet you, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The road here is no longer a straight line across the grass, but a series of elegant, sweeping curves that hug the contours of the mountain. Each step down brings a change in the atmosphere, a gentle transition from the world of the peaks to the world of the forest. You reach the edge of the gorge, where the land falls away into a deep limestone chasm. Spanning this gap is a bridge, a masterpiece of woven grass that sways gently in the rising thermal winds. It is the great rope bridge, its cables as thick as a man's thigh, braided from the tough fibers of the mountain ichu. You pause for a moment, feeling the cool breath of the canyon rising from the depths below. The bridge is a living thing, renewed every year by the hands of 1,000 villagers, who weave the strength of their community into its structure. You step onto the wooden slats, and the bridge responds with a soft, rhythmic creak, a song of tension and grace. Below you, the river is a churning ribbon of white water, 300 feet down, carving its way through the ancient stone. You move with a steady, practiced gait, your weight centered, your eyes fixed on the far side. The swaying is not a threat, but a conversation between the bridge and the wind, and you are merely a part of the dialogue. The mist from the river clings to the fibers of the rope, turning them a deep, earthy brown, and the air here is rich with the smell of wet stone. As you reach the other side, the landscape transforms once more as you enter the realm of the cloud forest. The trees are draped in long, trailing beards of moss, and bright orchids bloom in the crevices of the rocks like hidden jewels. The silence here is different, muffled by the density of the foliage and the heavy, humid air. The road becomes a narrow path carved into the side of a moss-covered cliff where the ferns brush against your legs. You can hear the drip of water from the canopy above, a slow melodic ticking that marks the passage of time. The light is filtered through 1,000 layers of green, creating a soft emerald glow that soothes the eyes. You pass a small stone shrine, an apacheta, where travelers have left offerings of stones and coca leaves over many generations. You stop for a brief moment to add a small, smooth pebble to the pile, a gesture of gratitude to the spirits of the mountain. It is a quiet act of devotion, a way of acknowledging that you are never truly alone on this long and winding journey. The path leads you past a series of massive stone terraces built into the near vertical slopes with a precision that defies the terrain. These are the hanging gardens of the empire, where maize and potatoes grow in the thin, rich soil protected from the frost. The stones of the retaining walls are cool to the touch and covered in a fine silver lichen. A narrow irrigation channel runs alongside the road, the water flowing with a soft, liquid chime as it moves toward the fields. You pause to splash a little of the cold water on your face. The chill of the mountain springs, waking your senses. The taste is pure and metallic, the very essence of the high peaks brought down to the valley floor. You continue your descent, the air growing warmer and thicker with every 100 feet of elevation. The scent of the forest is intoxicating, a mix of damp cedar, blooming jasmine, and the sweet decay of the forest floor. You are moving deeper into the heart of the mountains, where the secrets of the earth are guarded by the towering trees. The road widens as you approach a small cluster of stone buildings, a way station for the workers who tend the terraces. The smoke from a small fire drifts across the path, smelling of dried llama dung and roasting tubers. You hear the distant call of a bird, a sharp, clear note that echoes through the canopy, and then the silence returns, deeper than before. You find a small, flat stone to sit upon for a few minutes of rest as you adjust the woven strap of your bag. The quipu rests against your side, its knots a silent record of names, numbers, and stories that you must deliver. You run your fingers over the threads, feeling the texture of the cotton and wool, a tactile map of your mission. The sun is higher now, but its light is still soft, diffused by the mountain mists that never truly leave this place. You watch a hawk circling in the thermal currents above the gorge, its wings motionless as it rides the invisible breath of the world. There is no hurry in its movement, only a perfect, effortless harmony with the elements. You stand and resume your pace, your muscles warm and fluid, the rhythm of the road now a part of your being. The path begins to climb again, a series of steep stone stairs that lead toward a high ridge overlooking the next valley. Each step is a deliberate choice, a movement made with intention and respect for the ground beneath your feet. The stone steps are worn smooth by the passage of thousands of feet, a testament to the endurance of the people and the road. You can see the marks of the chisels on the rock, the labor of the stonemasons who shaped this path centuries ago. Their work remains a silent bridge between the past and the present, a legacy of stone and spirit. As you reach the top of the ridge, the view opens up to reveal a vast winding river valley stretching out toward the horizon. The river below is wider here, a silver serpent that winds through a patchwork of green fields and small villages. The air is filled with the sound of the wind rushing through the pass, a low, mournful whistle that speaks of the vastness of the world. You begin the long descent toward the valley floor, the road zigzagging down the slope in a series of sharp, narrow turns. The vegetation changes again, with hardy shrubs and thorny bushes replacing the lush ferns of the cloud forest. The ground is drier here, and the dust from the road rises in small golden clouds around your ankles. You pass a group of men working on a section of the road, their bronze tools glinting in the morning light. They look up from their work, their faces weathered and strong, and offer a quiet word of encouragement as you pass. You do not stop, but the brief exchange of energy gives you a fresh burst of strength for the miles that lie ahead. The road levels out as you reach the valley floor, where the air is still and the sun is warm on your back. The sound of the river is much louder now, a constant rushing presence that fills the air with a sense of movement. You are nearing the midpoint of your journey, and the landscape ahead is a tapestry of gold and green waiting to be explored. The river is a constant companion now, a low, rhythmic thrum that vibrates through the soles of your feet. It flows with a heavy, purposeful grace, carrying the melted snows of distant peaks toward the unseen sea. You follow the bank, where the road is reinforced with massive interlocking stones, each one carved to fit its neighbor with silent, seamless precision. The water laps against the lower masonry, a cool splashing sound that cuts through the stillness of the valley. You pause for a moment to watch the eddies swirl around a submerged rock, the liquid clear and dark like polished obsidian. The air here is thick with the scent of wet moss and the sharp, clean aroma of crushed mint growing along the water's edge. You turn your gaze toward the hillside, where the great stone terraces rise like the stairs of a giant. These Andenes are filled with rich, dark earth, held in place by walls that have stood for generations without the need for mortar. In the quiet of the morning you can hear the soft trickle of water moving through the irrigation channels, a network of stone veins that brings life to the slopes. The water flows from the heights, guided by the hands of ancestors, moving from level to level in a series of tiny controlled waterfalls. It is a sound of abundance, a gentle liquid music that speaks of the harmony between the people and the land. You reach down to touch the cool surface of a stone channel, feeling the smooth, water-worn groove carved by centuries of flow. Ahead, the road narrows as it approaches a deep gorge, where the cliffs press inward and the river churns in a white, frothing rage far below. Spanning the void is a bridge of woven grass, a delicate, swaying arc of braided fiber that seems to float in the misty air. This is the Kesvachaka, the bridge that is reborn every year through the labor and prayers of the nearby villages. You approach the massive stone anchors, where the thick cables are secured, feeling the immense tension of the braided ichu grass. The scent of dried straw and smoke lingers on the fibers, a reminder of the communal fires where the ropes were twisted into being. It is a structure of immense strength, yet it feels light and ephemeral, a testament to the power of things woven by hand. As you step onto the swaying deck, the world seems to tilt and breathe beneath you, the wind whistling through the gaps in the lattice. You keep your eyes on the far side, your feet finding the rhythm of the bridge's movement, a slow, undulating dance above the abyss. The sound of the river is a roar here, a wild, elemental force that fills your ears and vibrates in your chest. Midway across you pause, feeling the spray of the water on your face, a fine, cold mist that tastes of the mountains. The gorge is a cathedral of stone and shadow, where the light struggles to reach the bottom and the ferns cling to the vertical walls in emerald clusters. You feel small in the face of such vastness, a single thread in a tapestry that stretches across the entire world. Reaching the other side, you step back onto the solid, unmoving earth, the sensation of the bridge's sway still lingering in your limbs. Beside the path stands an apacheta, a small mound of stones left by travelers as an offering to the spirits of the mountains. You find a smooth grey pebble by the roadside and add it to the pile, a silent gesture of gratitude for a safe crossing. The road now leads you through a high, sun-drenched meadow where a caravan of llamas is grazing, their long necks swaying as they watch you pass. They are laden with sacks of dried potatoes and colorful textiles, their large dark eyes reflecting the vastness of the sky. The air is filled with the soft, muffled sound of their chewing and the occasional high-pitched hum of a mother calling to her calf. The smell of llama wool is heavy and earthy, a scent that speaks of warmth and endurance in the high cold. You walk past the lead herder, a man with a face etched with lines of sun and wind, who nods to you with a slow, deliberate grace. There is no need for words. The shared understanding of the road is enough to bridge the distance between you. You enter a narrow canyon where the walls are so high they swallow the sun, leaving the path in a cool, lavender-tinted gloom. The silence here is profound, broken only by the occasional drip of water from a hanging moss or the distant cry of a hawk. The stone walls are covered in ancient carvings, symbols of the sun and the moon that seem to glow with an inner light in the shadows. A small waterfall tumbles down the cliff face to your left, a silver thread that shatters into 1,000 diamonds against a flat stone. You stop to splash your face and neck. The water so cold it makes your skin tingle and your breath catch in your throat. It is a moment of pure, crystalline clarity, a cleansing of the senses before you continue your journey. The canyon opens up into a sheltered cove where a small tambo sits nestled against the rock, its thatched roof golden in the returning light. This way station is a place of rest and refuge, a sturdy stone building designed to withstand the harshest of Andean winters. You can see the thin blue smoke of a cooking fire rising from the smoke hole, a sign of life and hospitality in the wilderness. You approach the heavy wooden door, which stands open to catch the mountain air, and step into the dim, cool interior. The floor is made of packed earth, swept clean and smelling of wood smoke and dried herbs. Along the walls are niches filled with clay pots and woven baskets, containing the supplies needed by the messengers who pass through this place. In the corner, an old woman sits by a low burning hearth, her fingers moving with blurred speed as she works a backstrap loom. The rhythmic clack of the wooden batten and the soft hiss of the wool are the only sounds in the room. She does not look up as you enter, but a small smile touches her lips, a silent acknowledgement of your presence. You take a seat on a low stone bench, feeling the warmth of the fire seep into your tired muscles. The light from the hearth casts long, flickering shadows on the walls, turning the bundles of herbs hanging from the rafters into strange, swaying shapes. The scent of parched corn and simmering stews fills the air, a comforting aroma that speaks of home and hearth. The woman sets down her shuttle and offers you a wooden bowl filled with steaming quinoa, the grains soft and nutty against your tongue. You eat slowly, savoring each mouthful, the warmth spreading through your body like a slow-moving tide. It is a simple meal, but in this quiet place it feels like a feast, a gift of the earth and the hands that tended it. As you finish, you reach into your bag and feel the quipu, the knots a reminder of the duty that still lies ahead of you. You have rested, and your strength has returned. But the road is long, and the sun is beginning its slow descent toward the western peaks. You stand and offer a bow of thanks to the weaver, who returns the gesture with a single elegant movement of her hand. You step back out into the bright, thin air of the highlands, the road stretching out before you like a ribbon of gold. The silence of the afternoon is deep and peaceful, a vast open space where the only sound is the steady beat of your own heart. You begin to run again, your pace easy and sustainable, as the shadows of the mountains begin to stretch across the valley floor. The sun begins its long, slow descent, casting shadows that stretch like dark fingers across the granite stones of the road. Your pace is steady, a rhythmic beat that echoes against the mountain walls, a sound as old as the peaks themselves. The air is growing thinner, colder, and it carries the sharp, clean scent of snow from the distant summits. You feel the familiar texture of the road beneath your sandals, the smooth, worn surfaces of the paving stones that have been laid with such precision. Every stone was placed by hand, fitted together without mortar, a testament to the strength and the will of the people. You move with a quiet confidence, your body attuned to the subtle shifts in the terrain, the way the path curves and climbs. The world around you is a tapestry of gold and ochre, the dry grasses of the highlands swaying in the gentle breeze. As you round a sharp bend, the valley opens up before you, a vast expanse of green and brown, carved by the hand of an ancient river. Far below, the water glints like a silver thread, winding its way through the bottom of the gorge. You are approaching the great bridge, the hanging path of woven grass that spans the deep chasm. The sound of the rushing water rises up to meet you, a low, constant hum that vibrates in the very air. You can see the massive stone abutments on either side, anchored deep into the living rock of the mountains. These are the foundations of the crossing, the points of strength that hold the weight of the travelers and the messengers. The bridge itself sways slightly in the wind, a living thing made of fibers and sweat and prayer. At the edge of the gorge, you find the small hut of the bridge keeper, a humble structure of stone and thatch. The keeper is there, a man whose face is as lined and weathered as the cliffs themselves, standing watch over the cables. He watches you approach with calm, steady eyes, recognizing the mark of the messenger upon your chest. He says nothing, for the silence of the mountains is a sacred thing, but he offers a small nod of respect. You pause for a brief moment, catching your breath, feeling the spray of the river rising from the depths. The air here is damp and cool, a stark contrast to the dry heat of the open road you left behind. You look at the great ropes, thick as a man's thigh, woven from the tough golden blades of the mountain grass. Every year the people of the nearby villages gather to renew these cables, weaving the old stories into the new strands. It is a labor of community, a way of binding the empire together across the impossible gaps of the earth. You step onto the bridge, and the world begins to move beneath you, a gentle rhythmic swaying that requires a steady heart. The wooden slats of the walkway creak softly under your weight, and you can see the white water churning hundreds of feet below. You do not look down with fear, but with a sense of wonder at the engineering that allows a man to walk through the sky. Your hands grip the handrails, the rough texture of the grass providing a secure and familiar hold. Step by step you move across the void, the wind whistling softly through the gaps in the weaving. On the other side, the road begins to climb again, a series of steep stone stairs carved directly into the face of the cliff. These steps are narrow and demanding, testing the strength of your legs and the depth of your resolve. You take them one at a time, your breathing becoming a deliberate, focused exercise in the thin, cold air. The stone is cold to the touch, damp with the evening mist that is beginning to roll in from the eastern forests. You can feel the moisture on your skin, a fine veil of dew that clings to your hair and your woolen tunic. The light is changing now, shifting from the brilliant gold of afternoon to a deep, bruised purple. The peaks around you are turning into silhouettes, their jagged edges cutting into the darkening sky like the teeth of a giant. As you reach the top of the stairs, you find yourself on a high, narrow ridge, with the world falling away on both sides. To the west, the sun is a sliver of fire on the horizon, casting its final desperate rays across the clouds. To the east, the first stars are beginning to flicker, tiny points of light in the vast, unfolding velvet of the night. You stop for a moment to adjust the quipu at your side, the knot's a heavy responsibility in the quiet of the twilight. The message you carry is a thread of connection, a word that must reach its destination before the new day daredevils. You feel the weight of the history you are part of, the long line of runners who have trodden this path before you. Their spirits seem to linger in the cool air, a silent company that keeps pace with you in the gathering gloom. Ahead, the road levels out across a high plateau, a desolate and beautiful landscape where the only trees are the twisted quechua. Their bark is red and peeling like the skin of the earth itself, and their branches reach out like gnarled hands. The wind here is stronger, a constant low moan that carries the secrets of the high places to the valleys below. You move into the wind, your body leaning forward, your pace settling into a long, easy stride. The ground is covered in a carpet of moss and small, hardy flowers that close their petals as the light fades. There is a profound sense of solitude here, a feeling of being the only living soul in a world of stone and sky. Yet you are not lonely, for the road is a companion, a guided path that leads you ever onward toward your goal. In the distance you see the faint flickering light of a distant beacon, a fire kindled on a high peak to signal the way. It is a small orange spark against the deepening blue, a reminder that you are part of a vast and organized whole. Other messengers are out there, other runners moving through the night, each one a vital link in the chain of the empire. You feel a sense of pride in your work, a quiet satisfaction in the mastery of your craft and the endurance of your body. The road begins to descend now, leading you down from the high plateau into a sheltered valley where the air is warmer. The scent of wood smoke returns, drifting up from a hidden village nestled among the terraced fields of maize and potatoes. You can hear the distant bark of a dog, a domestic sound that grounds you in the reality of human life. As the last light of day disappears, the moon begins to rise, a pale silver disk that casts a ghostly glow over the landscape. The road becomes a ribbon of white light, guiding your steps through the shadows of the valley floor. You pass by a small shrine, a huaca, where travelers leave stones and prayers to the spirits of the mountains. You pause only long enough to place a small pebble on the pile, a silent offering of gratitude for your safe passage. The path leads you through a grove of trees, their leaves whispering in the night air, a soft shushing sound like the falling of rain. The darkness is not a wall, but a blanket, a soft and protective layer that wraps around the world as it sleeps. You continue to run, your movements fluid and effortless, as the stars multiply above you in their infinite silent numbers. The stars above are not merely lights, but a map of the soul, a celestial reflection of the empire below, stretching across the infinite black of the Andean night. You look up and see the great llama, a dark shape stretched across the silver river of the Milky Way, watching over the herds in the high pastures with a silent, eternal gaze. The air is thinner here, crisp and sharp, tasting of snow and ancient stone, filling your lungs with a cold purity that clarifies the mind and steadies the heart. Every breath is a deliberate act, a rhythmic exchange between the runner and the mountain, a silent conversation held in the language of endurance and quiet strength. The path narrows now, clinging to the side of a precipice where the sound of rushing water rises from the darkness far below, a deep and resonant hum. It is the voice of a river, a powerful and ancient force that vibrates through the soles of your feet, telling stories of the glaciers that birthed it and the valleys it has carved. You approach a bridge, a marvel of woven grass and collective labor, spanning the void with a graceful, sagging arc that seems to defy the gravity of the peaks. The ropes are thick, braided from the tough ichu grass of the highlands, and they creak softly, like a living thing. As you step onto the swaying deck, your weight causes the structure to dip and shift, a gentle, rhythmic motion that requires a steady balance and a calm, focused mind. Below, the white water of the river churns in the moonlight, a ghost of foam and spray that vanishes into the shadows of the gorge. You move with a practiced grace, your hands lightly touching the side rails of braided fiber, feeling the texture of the grass beneath your palms. This bridge is a testament to the unity of the people, a connection forged from thousands of individual strands, held together by the strength of a shared purpose. On the other side, the road returns to solid stone, a firm and reassuring surface that leads you toward the heart of the mountains. The cliffs rise up on either side, their faces scarred by time, and the elements standing like silent sentinels that have witnessed the passage of countless messengers. You enter a tunnel carved by hand into the living rock, a cool and dark passage where the sound of your breathing echoes softly against the walls. The air inside is damp and smells of earth, a subterranean scent that contrasts with the fresh wind of the open slopes. Small niches are cut into the stone, perhaps once holding lamps or offerings, now empty and filled with the quiet shadows of the night. As you emerge from the tunnel, the world opens up once more, revealing a wide, high-altitude basin where the land seems to breathe in the moonlight. In the distance, you see a cluster of circular stone buildings, their thatched roofs silvered by the frost that has begun to settle on the grass. These are the kolkas, the great storehouses of the empire, standing in orderly rows along the hillside to catch the cooling mountain breezes. They hold the wealth of the land, the dried maize, the potatoes, and the salted meat that sustain the people through the lean years and the long winters. You pass them in silence, their heavy stone walls a symbol of security and the careful planning of the lords of Cusco. The scent of dried herbs and grain lingers in the air, a sweet and wholesome aroma that speaks of harvest and the bounty of the earth. A herd of llamas rests nearby, their long necks tucked against their bodies as they sleep in a huddle of warmth against the mountain chill. One of them shifts, its large dark eyes catching the moonlight for a brief moment before it settles back into its peaceful slumber. Their breath rises in small white plumes of mist, a soft and rhythmic visible pulse in the cold, still air of the high plateau. You move past them quietly, careful not to disturb their rest, feeling a sense of kinship with these hardy creatures that share the road with you. They are the companions of the high places, the silent witnesses to your journey and the steady rhythm of your tireless feet. The road begins a long, winding ascent, a staircase of stone that climbs toward a high pass where the stars seem close enough to touch. Each step is a measured effort, a slow and steady climb that tests the strength of your legs and the resolve of your spirit. You pause for a moment to look back, seeing the road you have traveled as a silver thread, winding through the dark folds of the landscape. The valley you left behind is a sea of shadows, while the peaks ahead are crowned with the pale light of the rising moon. You feel a sense of immense scale, a realization of your smallness in the face of these ancient mountains, yet you are the one who moves between them. You reach the summit of the pass, where a large pile of stones, an apacheta, stands as a monument to the gratitude of travelers. You add a small stone to the heap, a silent gesture of thanks to the spirits of the mountains for the strength they have given you. The wind here is cold and biting, a sharp reminder of the power of the elements, yet it feels invigorating against your skin. You begin the descent, your pace quickening slightly as the road drops down into a sheltered valley where the air is noticeably warmer. The transition is subtle, a gradual shift in the temperature and the scent of the air as you leave the high peaks behind. In the valley floor, the road follows the curve of a small stream, its water clear and cold as it bubbles over the smooth, rounded stones of its bed. The sound is a gentle musical accompaniment to your journey, a soothing melody that eases the tension in your muscles and calms the mind. You pass through a small village, where the houses are dark and the only sound is the occasional rustle of thatch in the night wind. The smell of cold ash and wood smoke remains in the air, a lingering memory of the evening fires that warmed the hearths of the families sleeping within. You are a shadow passing through their world, a silent bearer of news that will reach its destination long before they wake. The road turns once more, leading you toward a large building with a wide open courtyard, a tambo where you will find a moment of rest. The stone walls are thick and well crafted, their joints so precise that not even a blade of grass could fit between them. You enter the courtyard, the sound of your sandals on the flagstones echoing in the quiet space, a signal of your arrival to those who wait within. A small fire burns in a corner, its orange light casting long, flickering shadows against the walls and the heavy wooden beams of the roof. You approach the warmth, feeling the heat seep into your bones and the weight of the miles begin to lift from your shoulders. A fellow runner, a youth who will take the next leg of the journey, rises from the shadows, his eyes bright with the anticipation of the road. You speak in low, hushed tones, the exchange of information a vital and sacred task that ensures the message continues its forward motion. You hand over the quipu, the knotted strings a silent record of the words you carry, their colors and positions a complex language of their own. The youth accepts the burden with a nod of respect, his fingers tracing the knots as he commits the message to his own memory. He prepares to depart, his body coiled with the energy of the start, while you prepare to settle into the quiet of the station. The fire crackles softly, a comforting and domestic sound that grounds you in the present moment after the long hours of the road. You find a quiet corner, wrapped in a warm blanket of alpaca wool, feeling the softness of the fibers against your skin and the gradual relaxation of your limbs. The world outside the walls of the tambo continues its slow nocturnal rotation, the stars shifting their positions in the infinite sky. You close your eyes, the rhythm of the road still pulsing in your blood, a steady and reassuring beat that will guide your dreams. The journey is not yet over, but for now there is peace in the stillness and the warmth of the fire as the night deepens. The heat of the fire remains a steady, pulsing glow that radiates from the center of the room. Here, within the thick stone walls of the tambo, the world of the high passes feels distant, though it is only a few steps away. You watch the station keeper, his movements slow and practiced, as he tends to the small necessities of the night. He moves with a quiet grace, his bare feet making almost no sound on the packed earth floor. The stone walls of the station are rough, yet comforting, built with the same precision that defines every inch of the great road. Each block is a testament to the hands that shaped it, fitting together in a silent, enduring embrace. A small niche in the wall holds a single oil lamp, its flame a tiny flickering star in the vast darkness of the interior. The light dances across the surface of a ceramic jar, highlighting the painted patterns of earth red and deep black. You feel the weight of your own body now, a heavy and solid presence against the softness of the alpaca wool. The exhaustion is not a burden, but a quiet companion, a reminder of the miles you have conquered and the message you have delivered. The station keeper approaches, offering a small wooden bowl filled with toasted maize. The scent is warm and nutty, a familiar comfort that speaks of home and the simple pleasures of the hearth. You take a single grain, feeling its hard, toasted shell and the soft, starchy center. The crunch is a small, sharp sound in the stillness, a grounding rhythm that connects you to the physical world. A draught of cool water follows, tasting of the high glaciers and the deep hidden springs of the mountains. It washes away the dust of the road, leaving behind a sense of clarity and renewed purpose. Outside, the wind continues its long, mournful song, but here the air is still and heavy with the scent of wood smoke. The smoke rises in thin silver ribbons, disappearing into the dark recesses of the thatched roof above. You close your eyes for a moment, and the road appears behind your eyelids, a long, winding ribbon of stone. It stretches across the spine of the world, connecting the high peaks to the deep valleys and the distant, sun-drenched coast. The stones of the road are more than just a path. They are the veins of the empire, carrying the lifeblood of news and command. Every step you take is a pulse, a vital beat that keeps the great body of the land in motion. You think of the pututu, the conch shell that rests by your side, its smooth, spiraled surface cool to the touch. It is silent now, but its voice has echoed across the canyons, a sharp and piercing call that announces your arrival. The fire pops, a small explosion of sparks that drift upward like tiny glowing embers. They fade as quickly as they appear, leaving behind a deeper sense of the surrounding shadows and the quiet of the night. In the corner, the station keeper is sorting through a collection of dried herbs, their scent sharp and medicinal. He works with a focused intensity, his hands moving with the wisdom of many years spent in service to the road. The silence of the tambo is not empty, but full of the small, subtle sounds of a world at rest. The rustle of the thatch, the distant call of a night bird, and the steady, rhythmic breathing of the station keeper. You pull the blanket closer, the wool thick and insulating against the creeping chill of the high altitude. It is a shield against the cold, a warm cocoon that allows you to drift in the space between waking and sleep. The stars above the tambo are bright and numerous, a glittering tapestry that tells the stories of the gods and the ancestors. They watch over the road and those who travel it, their light a constant and unwavering guide through the darkness. You feel a sense of peace settling over you, a quiet acceptance of the journey and the role you play within it. You are a link in a chain, a single thread in a vast and complex weaving that spans the length of the world. The fire begins to burn low, the bright orange flames giving way to a deep, smouldering red. The shadows lengthen and deepen, drawing the walls of the tambo closer around you in a protective, silent embrace. The rhythm of the night is slow and steady, a heartbeat that matches your own as you sink deeper into the quiet. The dawn is still many hours away, and for now there is only the stillness and the soft, lingering warmth of the dying fire. The fire has retreated to its final stronghold, a small, glowing cavern of orange and gold, buried deep within the grey ash. You watch the last of the flames lick at the air, a tiny, flickering tongue that vanishes into the darkness above. The heat is a fading ghost, a gentle memory that lingers on your skin even as the mountain chill begins to reclaim the corners of the room. You pull your mantle tighter, the heavy, hand-woven wool pressing against your chest with a comforting, familiar weight. The silence of the tambo is a living thing, a thick and textured quiet that seems to absorb the very sound of your breath. It is not the silence of an empty place, but the silence of a house that has seen 1,000 travelers, each leaving a fragment of their journey behind. The stones of the walls, fitted together without mortar in the ancient way, seem to hum with a low subterranean frequency. You can feel it through the floor, a vibration that speaks of the deep roots of the world and the enduring strength of the empire. Beside you, the quipu rests like a sleeping serpent, its many-colored strings coiled in a soft heap. In the dim light, the knots are shadows upon shadows, yet your mind can still trace the patterns of the information they hold. There are counts of grain, records of the harvest from the lower valleys, and the names of those who have fulfilled their labor for the sun. It is a heavy burden, not in weight but in importance, for these strings are the memory of the land. You are the vessel that carries this memory, the bridge between the high places and the heart of the world. The station keeper moves in his sleep, a soft rustle of wool against stone that briefly breaks the stillness. He is an old man, his face a map of the roads he has walked and the winters he has endured. He knows the rhythms of the Chasqui better than any, for he was once a runner himself, a man of speed and iron lungs. Now he guards the rest of those who follow in his footsteps, a silent sentinel in the dark. His presence is a comfort, a reminder that you are never truly alone on the great road. Through the narrow trapezoidal doorway, a slice of the night sky is visible, a deep and bottomless indigo set with diamonds. The air that drifts in is sharp and cold, smelling of ancient ice and the dry, high-altitude dust of the peaks. It is a clean smell, a scent that clears the mind and settles the soul. You look at the stars, searching for the dark constellations that navigate the celestial river. The great llama is there, its neck stretched across the heavens, its eyes bright with the light of distant suns. You think of the road as it exists in the moonlight, a silver thread winding through the black velvet of the mountains. It climbs over passes where the air is too thin to breathe, and drops into valleys where the heat of the earth still lingers. Every stone was laid by hand, every curve carved with purpose, a monument to the will of the people and the vision of the Inca. You have felt those stones beneath your feet all day, their grit and their smoothness, their heat and their cold. They are part of you now, a physical map etched into the soles of your feet. The fatigue in your muscles is a deep, throbbing ache that slowly transforms into a heavy, pleasant lethargy. It is the exhaustion of a body that has been pushed to its limits and found its strength. You welcome it, For it is the gatekeeper of sleep, the force that will pull you down into the quiet depths of the night. Your heart, which was racing like a trapped bird only hours ago, has slowed to a steady rhythmic thud. It is the drumbeat of the mountain, a pulse that connects you to the earth beneath. You remember the sound of the pututu as you approach the tambo, the long, mournful blast echoing off the canyon walls. It was a call to the world, a declaration of your presence and your purpose. Now the conch shell is silent, its pearly interior catching the last of the firelight. It rests near your hand, a sacred tool of your trade, waiting for the moment it will be called upon again. Its silence is a sign that your work for this day is finished, and the time for stillness has come. The darkness in the room is growing more profound, the walls receding until they are lost to the shadows. You are alone with your thoughts, which drift like clouds over the high peaks, formless and fleeting. You think of the villages you passed, the smell of cooking fires, and the sound of children laughing in the twilight. You think of the other runners, your brothers on the road, who are even now moving through the night or resting in similar stone shelters. You are all part of the same breath, the same movement, a single organism stretching across the continent. The wool of your blanket is coarse against your chin, yet it is the softest thing you can imagine in this moment. It smells of wood smoke and the natural oils of the llama, a scent that is both grounding and familiar. It is a shield against the vastness of the night, a small, warm world that belongs only to you. You wrap it tighter, feeling the heat of your own body reflected back, a gentle cocoon of life in the cold heart of the Andes. The mountain wind begins to rise, a low and mournful whistle that plays across the thatch of the roof. It is a lonely sound, yet it does not make you feel alone. It is the voice of the high places, a song that has been sung since the beginning of time. It tells of the snow that falls on the highest peaks and the water that trickles down to feed the thirsty valleys. You listen to its cadence, letting it lull you, letting it wash away the last of your waking worries. You feel a sense of profound gratitude for the road and the life it has given you. It is a hard life, a life of thin air and burning lungs, yet it is a life of purpose and clarity. You see the world in a way that few others do, from the heights where the eagles soar to the depths where the rivers roar. You are a witness to the majesty of the creation, a silent observer of the unfolding story of the empire. This knowledge is a quiet flame within you, a source of strength that never fades. The last ember in the hearth pops, a tiny sound that seems as loud as a thunderclap in the absolute quiet. A single spark rises, dancing for a second in the air before vanishing into the dark. It is the final act of the fire, the last gift of warmth before the night fully takes hold. You watch the spot where it disappeared, your eyes drifting shut, the darkness behind your lids even deeper than the darkness of the room. The transition to sleep is a slow and gentle descent, like a leaf falling from a tree in a windless forest. You do not fall, you drift, sinking through layers of consciousness until the world of stone and wool begins to fade. The road is still there, but it is no longer a path of stone, it is a path of light, a silver ribbon that leads into the heart of your dreams. You follow it without hesitation, for you know that it will lead you home. The spirits of the ancestors, the huacas of the mountains and the springs, are near you in the dark. You can feel their presence, a protective circle that guards the tambo and all who dwell within it. They are the keepers of the land, the ones who ensure the sun rises and the rains fall. They watch over the messenger, for they know the importance of the words you carry. You are safe in their hands, a child of the mountains resting in the lap of the earth. The cold is no longer an enemy, but a companion, a silent force that defines the boundaries of your warmth. It presses against the walls of the tambo, a reminder of the power of the natural world. But inside there is peace, a stillness that cannot be broken by the wind or the frost. You are a part of this peace, a single note in a vast and harmonious symphony of the night. Your breath is slow now, a long and shallow drawing in of the mountain air. It is the breath of the earth itself, a slow and rhythmic cycle that has no beginning and no end. You are no longer a runner, no longer a messenger, but simply a part of the mountain, a stone among stones, a shadow among shadows. The world of the empire, with its laws and its labor, is a distant memory, a story told in another time. The stars above continue their journey, moving in perfect accord with the divine will. They are the eyes of the night, watching over the sleeping world with a cold and beautiful indifference. Their light is a constant, a fixed point in a world of change. You drift beneath them, a traveler on a journey that has no destination, only the eternal movement of the soul. The silence is total now, a deep and velvet embrace that swallows the last of your awareness. You are gone from the world of the living, lost in the vast and shimmering landscape of the dream. The road waits, the quipu waits, and the sun waits for its time to rise. But for now, there is only the quiet, the darkness, and the deep restorative sleep of the messenger. Rest now, child of the sun, for your journey is honored and your path is clear. The mountains will hold you, the stars will guide you, and the road will be there when the light returns. Sleep and let the world turn without you, for you have earned this moment of perfect, unyielding peace. The night is long, the night is deep, and the night is yours. Thank you for walking through history with me tonight. Until next time on Quiet History, sleep well.